Hello, everybody, and welcome back to 50 Shades of Tay. I'm Taylor Gonzalez, and my guest today plays Rust in one of my favorite movies of the year, Clown in a Cornfield. I'm so excited to welcome Vincent Muller. Vincent, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you. How are you?
Good, thank you. What a fun film that you got to be in. I loved it so much, and I saw it. It was like an early access screening at the AMC in Burbank. It was a packed house, and everybody just loved it. So it was such a fun film.
Nice. Yeah, I'm so glad to hear that. I've yeah, the it's been a lot of positivity coming from people watching the movie. A lot of people just saying, like you said, that actual kind of theatrical feeling being in a packed theater. I got to see it. I've seen it three times now in a theater. So the premiere and then got an early screening here in Vancouver in Canada, and another one with family at the theater. And yeah, it's definitely a crowd pleaser. People uh, love cheering at the deaths and other moments, significant moments that people love.
Oh, that's awesome. So I figured we would start out spoiler free for people who haven't seen it yet, and then we
Yeah.
could work our way into talking about some more of the details of the film. But I wanted to start out by asking you, had you already read Adam's book when you had signed on to do the film?
No, I hadn't actually. Well, once I said I would sign on, then I did. But yeah, like the original audition, I did not hadn't heard of it. Not I don't know, like horror novels just wasn't my thing necessarily. I think it's becoming my thing now. But I remember when I saw the actual audition, it was like Clown in a Cornfield, and I was like, whoa, like this looks it's a striking name. And yeah, and then obviously when I actually I got a call back for it, so they said they like me for the role, but obviously they got to read for other people. And then at that time, I picked up the book to get more information. And once I booked it, obviously I read the whole book, and yeah, it was just super fun. And specifically, my character, I felt very lucky,
Oh,
and I noticed people connect well to that character because he's quite a unique character. So
mhm. No, I completely agree. Do you normally prefer when you're going to watch something and you haven't read the book yet, do you normally, not something that you're starring in, but do you normally prefer to read the book first or watch the adaptation and then go back and read after?
oh, I mean, I think yeah, most of the time yeah, in a way, maybe it's probably better to watch the movie first because I think uh, I don't know. I mean, for me personally, it's like you put your expectation and then it could ruin it or it could do it really well. The risk is lower if you watch the movie first, and if the movie's horrible, and you're like, all right, well, at least the book is you go into more depth, um, or you watch the movie and you love it and you think it's the best thing ever, and then you get the book and it's just a bigger version of what the movie was. Which I think with this, I think from reading it and also from hearing from fans of the books, is it's as faithful as it can be for a 96-minute movie, but it's also got Eli's signature all over it, which is what Adam said that he wanted, which I think they did very well.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great blend of comedy and horror
Yeah.
because I had people next to me that were laughing one minute and then screaming the next. I was like, man, what a fun film. Just perfect combination.
Yeah, it's funny. My mom is like, she hates horror films, and she was dreading coming to see this. She's like, great, yeah, the first movie you're in is a horror movie. This sucks. But she had the best time ever. I mean, she got scared in the scary moments, but it's just a fun movie. It's like, I think, yeah, Eli described it as just a ride, and I think it's the perfect thing. It's just then like sad and whatever, like that's what I think what people want, especially in the theater.
Okay, so you mentioned your mom's not the biggest horror movie fan, but what about you? Are you typically into horror?
I'm getting into it now. Unfortunately, yeah, like I had some other the premiere had like some interview questions. They're like, "Oh, what are your favorite horror movies?" And I was like, "Dude, I don't know. Like, it's just embarrassing." Um, because for the longest time, like I couldn't handle horror movies when I was younger. Like I guess I had like that kind of just one of those imaginations where, like, if I watched the most basic thing, like it was not even necessarily super scary, it would screw me up. So I just like avoided them like the plague. So growing up, and only the past, yeah, only since doing this movie, I'm like, oh wait, there's like a whole. I mean, the horror genre is so diverse, as everyone says. I mean, it's like you have so many different subgenres within the genre, and there's so much to explore and so much artistry. So I'm getting into it now, and I'm open to recommendations from anyone as
Mhm.
well.
All right, all right. I will recommend for someone who's just getting started out in horror, check out other horror comedies.
Yeah.
because it's a way to ease into it because it's not as tense, not, scary the entire 90 minutes. You have some laughs in there. It helps. And then if you're looking for a specific like subgenre, my favorite subgenre is the slasher horror
Yeah.
films, and my favorite franchise is Scream,
Scream.
and
Yeah, yeah.
those are so fun.
Yeah, I don't even know which one I saw, but again, yeah, it's embarrassing. But I've seen one of them. But I
No, no,
like
no. Everyone
like
has to start somewhere.
exactly. Thank you. I'm gonna be the once we get the sequel, I'll be the horror expert if I'm in the sequel.
Oh man, fingers crossed. The way it ended, because I haven't read the books yet. They're on
Oh,
my
really?
list to go pick up at the bookstore.
Nice.
And the way it ends, I know there's already two other books in the series
Yeah,
written. So I was like, oh, come on.
yeah,
I really hope that we get to see more of these characters on the screen. But I got to ask you the most important question.
yes.
Do you have a fear of clowns?
I Not anymore, I'd say. I mean, I like not in the way that it's like scary. I think before, yeah, I did when I was younger. I think I could still see as them as being scary. It's like hard to say whether it's a fear. Like if I see a clown in a horror movie and the movie's done well and it's scary, then I'm like, yeah, that's scary. But I don't know. Yeah, it depends. Not as intense as many people do have. I just got to be honest. Instead of trying to be interesting, I'll just be honest. Uh, like a lot of, yeah, I know there are a lot of people where it's just they can't handle clowns, even the jolly ones. I say, jolly clown, it's lovely. Like trying to make people laugh. As long as you're not murdering people in horrendous ways, then go be a clown.
Yeah, it's so interesting because one of the biggest mazes at or no, not at Universal, at Knott's Scary Farm, they have like a clown scare zone with circus and clowns and
Oh
stuff like
yeah.
that. People are terrified of clowns. I
Yeah.
personally have never really found them very scary, but it's
Yeah,
just
there you
so
go.
interesting to me. And then you think about it, not only is there now Friendo, but you have Art the Clown, you
Yeah.
have Pennywise from It. It's just such a fascinating thing
Yeah.
for people to be afraid of.
I wonder what it is. I mean, it's I guess there's lots of discussions about it, but it's probably got proximity to yeah, I mean, it's just supposed to be this joyful thing, and it can get dark in a way. I mean, I guess they even have like that with Santa Claus sometimes, like
Yeah.
childish, joyful things. Like they did that with like Winnie the Pooh and stuff. It's like they like making fun, childish things into really dark things, which you gotta
The
have a
other
good
thing I was thinking too is maybe it's like people that are older than us, they grew up with clowns, like parties and stuff like that. Because now I don't know the last time I've seen a clown in real life, like at a
yeah,
party or I don't know, like an event. So maybe it's like a thing from like the 80s when kids would have clowns show up at their parties and they weren't expecting it. And then seeing the makeup and the big nose and the shoes and everything, it just scared them.
yeah, and they're usually like yeah, it's like this like massive 6'4" man in a
Yeah.
clown costume, but squeaky shoes. That'd be interesting. How I'd react.
Oh my gosh. Well, since the movie has been out a couple weeks, I figured we could do some spoiler questions. So if you haven't seen the film yet, now is the time to pause this interview, go
Yeah,
check it out, and then come back and watch the rest of this interview. But I have to say, since my theater was packed, I would say it was a good amount of people who had not read the books, just based on the reactions of people in the audience. There were a few people actually I noticed that brought their books with them to the theater, and I thought that was pretty awesome to see
yeah, yeah.
them with their novels. But the biggest reaction was when multiple friendos came out of the cornfield. I did not know that was coming at all. What was
Yeah.
your reaction the first time that you heard that was going to be one of the big reveals?
Yeah, no, I mean, I remember first off seeing it in the movie. My first time watching the movie, even that, I mean, I obviously knew what was happening, but I mean, I read it in the book, and that's obviously a major twist. But even while making it, like, I think the edit, like Eli and his editors and everyone behind the scenes, did so well with. I think it really built up as a climax where you kind of think it's over, and then you hear the chainsaw. I think it worked really well. And yeah, I remember being on set, like that scene was so cool, so fun to shoot because it was like 4 a.m. or whatever. And that was what made this like whole shoot very surreal. Is most of it was overnight, obviously, because a lot of it is set at night. And so it would be like 4 a.m. and you've got bloodshot eyes and you're on your eighth coffee and your there's blood and you're freezing cold or whatever and then they got the fog going and then you see like a friendo come out and then another one and they've got kind of the best actors behind them doing their thing and it's pretty surreal. And even when the camera's cut and you just kind of see the friendo just waiting for a shot, like kind of staring in your direction in the corn, It's yeah, it's haunting. It was really cool. It was I think they executed it really well for the final product, and doing it actually in the moment was very surreal, very cool moment.
That is so cool. Because, yeah, I was going into it thinking it was going to be kind of like a Michael Myers, a Freddy Krueger, something where there's only one of the masked killers.
Yeah.
So when the reveal happened, it completely took me by surprise. And I was like, oh, this is a different kind of movie. And the first thing I did when I got home was I put the trailer on. I was like, did they at all hint at this in the marketing? And I didn't see anything in the trailer that would give it away.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it was I think they did a really good job of that. I think, yeah, because everyone's kind of comparing, in the clown horror movie subgenre or whatever. It's usually you got that one killer. Or Michael Myers, like any sort of slasher, you generally have one killer, and yeah, I guess it allows us to kind of stand apart. Uh, and I think there are a few plot twists that like there's a lot of tropes that are used in a good way, like that I think people enjoy. It's like what do you call it? Reminiscent of like slasher horrors from like the 80s and stuff. But then there's also things that set it apart, which I think was a good mix.
And I think it's so great the marketing team did not reveal it in the posters, in the
Yeah.
ads, because I feel like now so many movies that give away everything in the
Oh,
trailers. And so I'm just so happy that with this one, they held back, they kept it a secret because the audience reaction is totally worth it.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, same here. That was I really loved the reaction. Hearing it, it's like, oh yeah,
Oh,
people
that's so
love it.
cool.
Yeah, yeah,
So when we first are introduced to your character Rust in the film, I was very suspicious of your character because my favorite thing about these types of films, like Scream or like this, is trying to figure out who it is under the mask.
yeah.
And I honestly was very suspicious of Rust.
Glad
I
that's good.
thought the introduction and the hunting and just very convenient timing and everything. I was like, oh, okay, I'm leaning towards Rust being a suspect.
Yeah.
But he ended up by the end of the film being, I think, my favorite character.
Oh,
He was
thanks.
just,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
really grew on me and was so cool. And I'm just so happy he survived the film. What was your favorite part of getting to portray him?
Oh, man, I mean, I remember when I read the script. I think I like called my mom and I was like, "Oh my God, I love this character." Like, I think I felt so lucky. Because it's a slasher horror, and like the genre, the tone you can kind of get from the script, and kind of the direction things were going is like you kind of want to go campy, and it's got to be fun, and there's still plenty of room for conflict and stuff. But I think just the way my character was written, I think there was a lot of opportunity for like real subtext, and intentional subtext, to obviously, to maybe you think he's the killer, or whatever. For me, it was just truthful to what my circumstances were and what my relationship was to all the other characters, which gave me a lot to play with, in that sense. um, Under the surface, which is like why I like acting. I think that's the most interesting part about it, is what you don't say. Like that's what acting is. It's not about what you say. So that, yeah, I think that's just my favorite part of it. I got to really dive into, okay, what is he actually thinking? The subtext of it, yeah, emotional inner turmoil, whatever. Yeah,
Mhm. What a cool character. And I have to say, I was very like relieved to see that you made it through the film because normally when there's gay characters on screen, they don't make it very far.
yeah,
So to
yeah,
see
yeah.
that you guys make it out, it just made me so happy. But this film has such a special relationship, which is also another huge twist and reveal in the film. I was wondering what it was like getting to work with the characters of Cole and Russ. So when you worked with Carson on this dynamic, how did you guys find a good balance with this?
It was interesting. Well, I mean, firstly, Carson was he's been doing it for more longer than me, so I got to learn a lot. We became, like, by the end of it, we were like best friends. I mean, probably by the first 2 days we were best friends. Um, but he's been doing it a bit longer than me and has done bigger projects, so I got to learn a lot just from him and Katie, and I mean every single person on the set. I mean, Kevin Durant, Will Sasser, are you kidding me? Aaron Abrams. But I got to observe and learn. So we became very close. Well, yeah, sorry, I'm going off. But my favorite thing, or how I found it working with Carson. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was well, it's interesting because one of my first scenes on set was like the last scene that we shot. So it was like tough. We were supposed to have had like 9 months of chemistry together. So it was interesting. I mean, when you're an actor, you kind of do it. You prepare yourself in that sense. But I was, kind of nervous. It was my first couple days on the movie. But kind of that big climax and everything. That was luckily towards the end of the movie. So we'd already become kind of best friends, and it was like 5 a.m. or whatever. And we're like, let's just go for it in that scene. And yeah, it was just fun. And yeah, we had our own. It was just great working with him, and just the writing. Yeah, I really like the relationship that was created, and I don't think it gave away too much. It was not like, sure, there were little lines that kind of pointed towards it, but not everyone could tell, and it's more in the what's in the eyes. So
Mhm.
that I had a lot of yeah, had a lot of fun that way.
Yeah. Oh, that was such a great relationship to get to see play out on screen. And then I, of course, have to ask you, there are so many incredible kills and fun kills in this movie. Do you have a favorite death scene throughout the film?
Yeah, I mean, what's sad is I wasn't really even on set for most of them. I mean, I was only on set for killing the friendos, really. If I think, yeah, I think about it, yeah. But watching it, I think what was my favorite? I think one of the saddest, it's like not sad, like the darkest, I'd say, where it's not like campy slashers, like Io, my he's a good friend. Tucker,
Mhm.
first guy that gets killed. Io, yeah. Sorry, I don't know. Matt or Tucker. It's Tucker, I think. But he is like with the knife, the first guy that gets killed. That was pretty dark. Like it was quite sad in a way. Like he's got the Nerf gun. He's like, oh, I'm just playing with my friends, and then you kind of see the plastic on the floor. Like that was dark to me. But then kind of my favorite kill, slasher wise, is probably Verity, Ronnie with the chainsaw. I thought, and I really had no like for example, for Cassandra, for Janet, I saw some backgrounds like people recorded their iPhone, so I kind of knew it was coming. But that Verity's was the one I hadn't seen any evidence of. So when I saw it in the theater, I was like, "Oh crap, that's dope!" And, I saw it on the screen, and I didn't really know how they would do it. And I think the build up, and that's real clown in a cornfield. Like that was what everyone came to see as a clown in a cornfield, and they did that well with that kill, I think.
Such a fun film.
Yeah.
Well, I have my fingers crossed that we are going to get a sequel announcement soon. You
Yeah.
saw the good news, I mean, of course, about how it was the distributor's biggest opening
Yeah.
weekend for a film, and it's doing great, especially when you think about it's summertime. There's a Marvel movie in theaters right now, so I hope we're just moments away, even maybe even by the time this interview comes out, from getting the announcement. But Vincent, in the meantime, where would be a good place for people to come and follow you and check out all the other upcoming projects that you have?
Yeah, I mean, I only got one. I got Instagram. I got just Vincent Muller _ Vincent Muller _ That's my Instagram. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Maybe I should make like a YouTube channel or something. No, but no, but yeah, just my Instagram is where if you want to follow me there.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it, and I can't wait to see what you do next.
Thank you so much. This was lovely. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you as well.
Bye.
Bye.